So some people think that the NFL is not going to happen. I'm sorry, I don't believe it. And the Washington Post decides to go ahead and put this out there to try to scare people off. Let me tell you something. Las Vegas will not tolerate that. They need the sports book to have NFL games so that people can gamble on it. You're thinking about, Al Davis's son, Mark Davis. Al Davis's birthday was today. The owner of the Raiders, whether it was Oakland or Los Angeles. Just win, baby. Well, now they have the new Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, a brand new stadium. A lot of people, their seats are sold out for Vegas this year. They want to play football, and they're not going to wait. So this story that Washington Post thinks they're going to go ahead and push on, they already are going after, the NFL right now is getting attacked from all different ends because of Black Lives Matter. So NFL's capitulated, whether you like it or not. They're going to go ahead and put, allow the, they're going to allow, a national anthem that's supposed to be perpetuating to black people. They're going to play first for the first week of the season after the national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner. And then, we also have other things that are going on. Colin Kaepernick has definitely not stayed quiet. He's definitely continued to be vocal. He even talked here on 4th of July this past weekend, and he's going to say what he's going to say. And the players also in lockstep as well. Part of the pandemic, part of it is the treatment of they feel like they're getting. So the players union is going to go and come back and forth, and there's a whole lot of mess that goes on with this right now. So for the NFL, they're dealing with a lot of things. And honestly, I think it just pisses off a lot of fans. Now, they might be, they might not care so much what happens with the season if, you have other things that are going on where, there's some kind of capitulation or whatever. Oh, they're giving in to certain demands. I don't think anybody gives a shit about that, but I think what's more important than anything else is that we can't see the season not happen. You want to really abandon your fans, then you don't let this happen. So TV networks are worried about it, but they cannot lose NFL. They might be okay without Major League Baseball, with the NBA, with golf, things like that. But with the NFL, it's such a cash cow, and there's so much importance for them when it comes to the revenue they bring up, getting their fall season out there to be noticed by everybody. They have to have it. They can't go without it. So now we're seeing all the issues that are going on. And for sports, what they were talking about while we were going through the pandemic in March and April and others, when they knew the other sports were not around, well, they talked about football. They talked about free agency. They talked about the draft. They talked about, now they're going to be talking about trading camps that are all coming up. And there's going to be precautions that need to be taken, so they're going to figure out what they're going to do. So we know that some sports are coming back. Major League Baseball, NBA, and other sports are working their way back. And, if you lost the NFL season, you're looking at a financial hemorrhage, according to a former ESPN executive, John Costner. He's right. And all major four networks. NFL works with CBS, ABC with ESPN, Fox and NBC. They're all invested in it. So the networks, they can't afford to lose anything from the NFL because that's the only thing that's getting them any ratings. Because I think it was 41 of the top 50 rated podcasts, telecasts in 2019 came from the NFL. So that's where their revenue is coming from. That's where their ratings are coming from. That's when the promotion of their programming comes from. Because everybody, men and women, are watching the NFL on a regular basis. And more than anything in college football. So they have to make, Sundays must have NFL. There's no way, no doubt about it. They have nothing that they have. It even comes close to getting that audience back. Therefore, you look at how big the networks are. Look at this. This is ad revenue for 2019 last year. Now, meanwhile, college might get them between, $50 and $280 million for college football. That's a lot of games they're covering. For the NFL, just on Sundays, look at this. Fox, almost $2 billion, $1.5 billion for CBS, $1.7 billion for, ABC and ESPN is a different story because NFL is not so much $500 million for NFL because they're running on ESPN. And then college accounts for $1 billion. So that's a big deal for ABC. NBC, 1.35 because they're running on Sunday nights. It's a major night of the lineup. For Fox, it's because they have Sundays and Thursday nights. They absolutely have to make that happen. And then the ad revenue coming from football, again, 39% of all the ad revenue coming from football for Fox is 39% from NFL. 17% comes from ESPN. Again, look at the kind of cuts they're making for that. They can't afford to lose that money. And there's a lot of money they're all paying, because look at the certain amount of contracts they have right now. The contracts you're showing, ESPN pays $2 billion for Monday Night Football, CBS $1 billion for Sundays afternoons, NBC pays almost $1 billion for Sunday Night Football, and so much more. And that's what's going on. All this is right here. They can't allow this to happen. So something's got to be done. And then there's other things going on where, again, the lack of money that's coming in from baseball or basketball and others, well, then what's going to happen next? It's going to be the same problem here, right? So now, in this, David Hill, former president of Fox Sports, says that missing an NFL season hurts the broadcast networks in their battle for relevance against streaming services. Their main advantage in that struggle remains the NFL, and sports continue to be the key drivers for consumers paying for cable. You want them to cut the cord, you're just causing that more. So the NFL cannot afford to do. The NFL is absolutely key because it plays into the essence of what the network is. It's the only way the networks can talk to consumers. If families are sitting in the living rooms watching the streamers, they're not tuning on the networks for the NFL. Less awareness than anything they're doing. Because nothing else is working. They need the NFL. They have to have the NFL. And then the deals for next year come up for broadcast agreements. And you know what? They're going to need them more than ever to try to make back the money they didn't make from the year before. And that's going to be one of their major problems. But Washington Post, of course, they can't help themselves to go ahead and start creating the scare. Now, Hill also says for whatever uncertainty exists now in the coming weeks, he believes the NFL will find a way to play the season. But of course, Washington Post cannot help themselves but to put this story up there and create the clickbait headline. Fuck you, Washington Post.